NRG might have a big problem because while they didn't get completely destroyed at Champions, I did notice a worrying trend. Now, they started off their Masters London run with a match best of 3 against XLG, and if you look at the scoreboard, you'll notice one thing. One person specifically, one person native to that land, which is Kiko. Kiko went off against XLG and dropped an otherworldly, 60 kills in less than 30 deaths. 7 first kills and 1 first death on Vice and Omen. You know, dual agents that, you know, you would argue that he's probably a better duelist than a Sentinel or controller player, right? Now, if you look at NRG's other, you know, best of 3 series against Leviathan, you'll notice that whenever Kiko doesn't have a good game, it seems like NRG just lose. And now they do win on their map pick of Lotus against Leviathan, and obviously they lose to them. And then you're going to see that against Foot, the only map that they win is their own map pick of Lotus, where, again, Kiko top frags. But again, if you look at the scoreboard and you notice, you know, who's at the top for NRG, when it's not Kiko, they lose, right? And it begs the question, you know, had Kiko not popped off against XLG, would NRG have lost this, you know, this series as well? So today we're going to be breaking down Lotus and how Kiko basically single-handedly carried NRG back from a 6-0 deficit to win Lotus against XLG 13-11. This is probably their favorite map, and without Kiko, NRG might have gone home sooner. So we're going to begin at the start of this comeback, 6-2-0, and this round's kind of a long one, so just bear with me. XLG, their goal is to take Rubble as 4, while NRG's goal is to take Mound as 4. Now, the goal of this XLG comp is to basically take early map control and hold onto it so that they can stall in these choke points right here, and like right here, and then buy time for rotates to be there at the right time. And now you might be thinking, why is the triple Sentinel comp fighting so much? Well, because if the Sentinels just sit on site and just plan on anchoring down sites with their utility, they're going to lose. So it's not exactly what you think. Your first impressions aren't necessarily right with this XLG comp. You know, you think Sentinels want to turtle up and play sites, but that's not really the case. They want to fight early, stall here, so they can buy time for rotates. And as you can see, or as you're going to see, that's if they can't stack the right site, they basically lose because they can't retake. So it's a big weakness of XLG's comp, and I think NRG are going to kind of figure that out. The round's going to start. You're going to see the defense bombard a ton of utility onto Rubble while the offense are taking Mound. Now you're going to see in a second, Kiko's going to hang up a one-way up onto site here. And what this does is it threatens the fact that the offense could walk into site and basically just destroy Cypher. And Cypher's job isn't really to hold the site. If you look at this tripwire, you look at this cam, it's basically to get info to tell his teammates, you know, when they need to rotate and when they need to come help him. So you're going to see that this cam is going to get popped in a second. But his teammates are already starting to rotate over. Sage is coming over. Omen's on his way too. The cam gets popped. Okay, so now the defenders are convinced that most of the offense are on this side of the map. So XLG have decided to leave their deadlock to hold A, right? And once she starts taking contact, the defense can start rotating back over. Now, XLG at this point have left, left Brock to hold Mound in case of a reclear, while they decide to go repressure A before doing anything else. Now, enough time has passed in the round that the walls expired, so Fade comes back over to help Deadlock, and they form into a crossfire to try and hold this choke point. But as you can see, Fade's kind of out of position. Deadlock tries to go for an ult. She tags somebody, right, but the Viper Molly kind of destroys No Man, and then they free whoever got captured, right? But if you look at the minimap, you'll see that Lysor has used his Omen ulti into the attacker spawn, right? He knows that NRG are now heavily leaned towards A, right, and are more focused on taking Rubble and not so much their own spawn. And, you know, as NRG, you would expect somebody to be, or not somebody, Lysor, to be, like, rotating on A or something, right? They don't really expect him to spawn. So, NRG rotate back, right? Lysor gets 1. Flashes. I promise the Kiko stuff is coming soon. Trade flashes. Lysor does a good job of getting out. Sticks around. He's delaying energy for a very, very, very long time. But unfortunately, I don't think XLG are going to be in the right spots to take advantage of this low amount of time, right? So happy we sees a couple. Warga does have his res online, so luckily for XLG, NRG decide to go C, allowing Rarga to get his ult off on one of his teammates on A, as you'll see in a second. Now, NRG, they're taking the site. They have Vice ulti to make sure. They're util dumping site. They're taking site. Now, here is the problem with XLG's comp. I mentioned this already, that they can't really retake. Once they lose site, there's really no getting back on, because what are you going to do? Retake with a camera? Maybe some fade util? It just doesn't work as well as you think. So you're going to see that these two decided to go flank, right? And then Cypher's kind of on his own. He kind of has to make a play. He has to do something ballsy, so he runs out and spawn on his own. Manages to take one down, but gets mowed down by Brox Odin. Now, NRG realize, now they find out that two people are flanking thanks to Brock's death. Now, Kiko has his smoke back online, right? And you would think that like enough time has passed, right? So maybe NRG should try playing time, or try to play stall, or just try not to give XOG the kill so they can't defuse and win the round. But the thing is, agents like Fade or Sage, right, they don't have the utility to get back onto site. So as soon as Kiko deploys this smoke, he knows exactly how to win this round.
They have just been able to find their round to win, but Leo has other ideas. Shots going through, the time starting to dwindle, and there you go. Kiko will be able to find it. It's NRG at long last.
And now this round, XRG are going to have a little bit of a read on the offense on NRG. So to start the round, NRG are going for like a fake, they're pumping A, like a fake mound, fake rubble default with the Fade Prowler. You see a smoke here to like, protect an Omen if you were to TP across, right? And this normally would make the defense think that, oh, they're defaulting A, right? Most of the offense are here. But in reality, NRG are in a second going to go up B. And XLG are ready for this. You see that they have 3 here, and things are about to get a little messy. So on C, Cypher's ready to anchor down, while these two try to make a play up B. Now, you see, I don't know how XLG have the read. Maybe NRG like doing something with these ultis they have online. I'm not exactly sure. But as soon as this boom out comes out, you're going to see that XLG handled this B default pretty well. You see the Gravnet go in. You see Leo, he goes to peek with the Paranoia, right? He gets one, and thankfully, Kiko stops XLG before they can get more, right? But I don't really think they would have with the triple senti comp. You don't really have someone to dash up and get these kills. But whatever. Regardless, the defense block off B with their barrier mesh. So B secure. C is kind of secure, right? They have a lot of utility here, right? At least in XLG's mind, I think it's secure. So in XLG's mind, the only natural spot for NRG to go next would be A, right? Walls here. I mean, I think that NRG broke a piece, so maybe they could lurk in. But looking from the defenses, the way they're acting, it doesn't look like it. And again, we don't have a replay system for pro games, so whatever. XLG have the read. They know NRG have to go A, and NRG are going A. Now, to re-clear bubble, what is it? Kiko uses this from the shadows to clear up behind here, clears out behind these boxes, allows his team to walk up a little easier. And at this point, the deadlock wall, it expires, right? So the defense kind of lean back B, but now after this nightfall, they're slamming A, right? They know it's A, so the defense rotate over. A bunch of kills happening. A bunch of kills are going down. Everyone's getting kills. It's getting crazy. Kiko gets one. It's now a 2 versus 3 favoring NRG. So the defense really weren't here in time to stack the site, and NRG kind of just won their gunfights and managed to mush their way onto site. But the round isn't over, right? Lysark teleports across. Kiko must have heard it or is expecting it, so he takes him down. 1 versus 3. There's no way Happyway wins this, right? Well, spoiler alert, this guy is XOG's only good player. Or, I guess, probably their best player is what I should say. So he gets one, is seized, he's 1 HP, and this next headshot is just insane. Look at the precision that you see. Look at this. He's going to see his scalp. Oh, and he gets scalped. He's a scalper. But again, NRG have arguably the best Omen in the world. And now this round might be on XLG's fault a little bit. So they've invested into an op for Rarga, and he's gonna get posted on this A line. And an op in XLG's comp is really good because as an attacker, you would think that you need to bait out, like, you need to go destroy Cypher trips, deadlock wall, sage walls, and all that jazz. So when there's an op online, that's just like a whole nother thing that you need to be careful of when you're doing all these defaults, right? So an op in this comp, in theory, is really good. But I feel like when you have an op, you should have your fade paired with it, just to make sure like no funny business happens. Because you see, NRG are getting ready to default Rubble as 5, and the only 2 people here are Cypher and Sage. And the thing about Sage is slow is that Kiko can teleport past them. And then, yeah, he peeks. Yeah, and takes out Rarga. So, Remember when I said how Happyway is probably XOG's only good player? Again, probably shouldn't be saying it like that, but watch how he's able to anchor sight against an entire NRG swarm. He's popping his cages, he has a sight smoke, he gets one, pops a Cypher ulti, raises flying back sight, right? Happyway is such a good player. He manages to get 2 and evens things out at 3 apiece for NRG, or for XLG, right? Now, the only problem with that is that, yeah, you know, XLG know where the rest of NRG are, but they still now have to clear out this entire giant stink cloud. And retaking against a Viper ult is never an easy thing, especially when Viper could just sit in tree. Notice how she has like a little pocket here and could just live out the rest of her days, right? While the enemy team tries to defuse, which should be impossible. So Ethan's gonna get the spike down, and Kiko is tasked with protecting his entire team, right? Ethan's trying to plant. Viper really can't die, so it's up to Kiko to try and get some kills and alleviate some of this pressure. So XOG are storming the ult. Kiko gets a kill. And now things are getting really hairy for NRG because XOG can come from anywhere, right? They can come from here. They can come from here. So they decided to drop the pit. Kiko's ready and gets another, right? And decides, okay, listen, let's just fight our way out of this, right? Let's just fight our way out of this. And because they know Omen is somewhere on site or somewhere in this big mess, they decide if we just silently rotate away and leave A, he won't be able to like find timing on us or backstab us or do anything crazy. So you see that they're both trained on stairs. They know Omen is in this area, right? And then after Lysor, you know, exposes himself, Kiko deploys a smoke to make the defender not want to like push this lane, and Scuba's able to plant out in the open and basically win the round. I'm gonna go and skip ahead a little bit. Eventually Lysor decides to wrap all the way through B main, opens the door, and the way that NRG play this 2 versus 1, you know, Kiko being on 1 HP, you know, he's not afraid to put his life on the line. You'll have to see that from your Omen players.
Is still very risky. TP up and over the top. The tap. The spam now coming through. Lysor wheeled away at and on the peak will finish the job but cannot get the round win. Scuba.
Now, if you think I'm exaggerating with how much Kiko is carrying this team, then watch this round because he kind of just runs up and kills everybody. NRG's plan is to, what is it, fake like a ton of C pressure while these two walk up B and try to find a lurk timing on somebody who's like that's rotating, right? And Kiko finds a little bit more than a rotate. So we see the Haunt, we see a Satchel, we see a one-way on C. Obviously, this is going to drag defenders over like we've seen in the first round of this breakdown. But look, Kiko just swings into B, hears Fade running and gets one, teleports into heaven, and Lysor is just clueless. And then he paranoia's secret, hears them next, and just... It's been 20 seconds into the round. And Kiko's destroyed half of XLG, over half. Right, so again, maybe he heard Fade running here, so that explains this little pre-fire. An instant reposition, or I guess teleport into heaven, which is really nice. And then Lysor just doesn't expect him. And then I guess Kiko, yeah, just hears them running and kills 3. Yeah, spoiler alert, Cypher dies and Deadlock tries to save. Yeah, Kiko's a pretty good player. And so not only does Kiko make, you know, not only does he shoot well and he's smart and he's handsome, right? But he also makes use of an ult that I think almost everyone thinks is useless, and it's Omens from the Shadows. We've seen it once already used to re-clear rubble, and we're going to see it again used as like a playmaking tool to create space and generate a win condition for his team. So, NRG obviously want to default into rubble, and it looks like XOG are going to fight it a little bit, while at the same time fight Mound, while Deadlock tries to anchor B with a whole bunch of... This is a nightmare. It looks like a nightmare to push into, but regardless, round's going to start. We're going to see everyone's going to trade util for util, and it's going to be a shit show, right? So XOG don't have a lot of players, so they decide to give up and just wait for reinforcements to come while NRG are, you know, obviously bombarding their way into A, right? But they're slowed off, right? The defense are trying to buy time for rotates to come over. Boombot flies by. They might think Leo's there, right? Araga maybe messes up his wall. I'm not sure. Crazy Raze ulti, right? Leo manages to get one as he goes uncleared. Nightfall goes in, right? Obviously, NRG are aware that there's a lot of players in this vicinity, and what is it? Brock realizes that, hey, I don't see anybody B. Like, I haven't seen anybody. I don't see any rotates yet. Maybe all the defense are rotating through spawn, or like they're flanking or something. I think. What is it? His wall goes off or something. Yeah. So his wall goes off, and he's telling his team, they push through C. They push through C. Let's go take B instead, right? There's a lot of people here. There's some people here. Let's go take B and do something crazy. So Kiko decides to use his From the Shadows to teleport into the defender spawn, and he sees a nobody's waterfall, nobody's this way, let's keep moving, let's keep pushing, right? So the Omino comes in, NRG are charging through, they take spawn. This is a really weird round. They've all essentially went funneled in through Secret, into waterfall, into backside, and now have taken spawn on C. Ethan goes for the plants, and immediately NRG know that they need to take more space. So they push spawn, Kiko gets a trade. Not only is he trading his teammates, but he's making space. The only reason why this whole play is possible is because of him. They cap off spawn with the smoke. They're like, okay, we've taken spawn. Let's go keep getting more proactive. We can't let the defense crunch on us. Because in their mind, they're being crunched from spawn, waterfall, and flank, right? Kiko goes out first, gets traded. Let me look at that again. I think Kiko jumps out, right? It's hard to look when I'm looking at the minimap. Yeah, so we swing out, get traded. It's just the right play after right play. We realize who's left. Right, there's only one person left. And Ethan plays a beautiful 1 versus 1.
Bottom. The time is starting to bleed away. Happyweight needs to find this kill sooner rather than later. Haunt goes out.
This is no
Just
problem.
eats that. Jump peeking coming through. Ethan just trying to buy the time. His head continues to just pop out from behind the wall. Happyweight will claim his life, but he cannot claim the round win. NRG.
So unfortunately, that's like the last round where Kiko has a ton of impact, and you can kind of tell by the timeline and the scoreboard. NRG proceed to go on a 5-round loss streak. They pick up 2, but just look at the scoreboard. I mean, dude, and nobody is helping this guy. It is a one-man army this match, and I don't think it's crazy to believe that NRG would have went home sooner if it wasn't for Kiko. So, but he does pick up around this. He does pick up this round, right? So NRG are set up in a 2-1-2, and the offense are ready to default sort of C and B at the same time. So you're gonna see the round's gonna start. We see a slow orb, and it turns out the mount pressure was a pump fake. Kiko secures all amount for his team with this one way, while most of the offense just gun it up B. Right? We see a ton of util. There's so much going on. Let me try and show you guys what's happening. So the offense are trying to catch Ethan or basically pound it into B, but Ethan C's piled on with Kiko's paranoia, right? They completely stop the offense, like 100%. Because of this one way, Kiko feels way more confident to just barrel his blind at the attackers, and they get stopped completely. And now XOG realize that a potential pinch is happening from Ethan and B main, right? So in order to stop this, Rarga puts up his wall, maybe a second too late, because Kiko ends up finding a kill through this cage, right? So he finds one just in the nick of time, and you're going to see that Kiko, he's like conscious of somebody swinging this one way, but he's making noise, a res gets off, right? He's waiting for somebody to swing, but he realizes, look, nobody's going to swing me, nobody's here. I'm just going to keep barreling my way at the attackers, right? So from Waterfall, you see that Brock is about to use his Steel Garden, and what this ult is going to do is force the attackers back into main, right? So Brock gets in position, we open the door again, and you see just Ethan spamming, everybody's shooting their bullets. Kiko gets one, he teleports on top of Sage's wall, gets another. I think he got one. I think he got 2 on top of Sage's wall. So if you look closely, again, really hard to tell without a replay system, but Kiko maybe he broke a piece of the wall. It's hard to tell because, again, Kiko gets one, but the wall's like not broken. So I'm not sure how he killed Cypher, but regardless, he gets a bunch, pinching through Mound with his teammates because he was so confident in securing Mound for his team against the Triple Sentinel comp. The last thing you want to do against this Triple Sentinel comp is give them space. Allow them to walk up to the choke points and basically burst into sight. The worst thing you can do is play passive and think like, oh, I could just hold my sight against a Triple Sentinel comp. It's a lot easier said than done, and what you want to do instead is take map control like Mound and Rubble so that the Sentinels have to burn a ton of their utility just getting through these initial choke points, because that's what Lotus is all about, these areas. So at this point, NRG have made a decent comeback, and obviously Kiko has a lot of impact here and there, and I just kind of highlighted like the biggest rounds where he gets the biggest 3Ks, right? And how he kind of, started this whole comeback with his utility and just everything about him. But I do want to show the good with the bad, and the last round of the game is pretty bad, but NRG win it without Kiko. So the defense's plan is to basically contest Mound and a Rubble at the same time. right? We see the one-way hang up. Kiko charges at the attackers, right? He just is in a smoke spraying, and then he dies. This probably isn't like the best idea, because especially like the attackers are going to know that you're sitting in a smoke spamming. I mean, he almost kills Lysor, so like maybe if he gets that kill, like, you know, maybe I'm not talking about this as a troll, but I don't know. Even if he gets traded, I still think this is really bad. Spoiler alert, NRG end up winning the game, and I have one more round to show you. So I want to show you one more round where Kiko just absolutely saves this team sometimes, and this is against Foot. This is a completely new game. This is NRG's map pick, and this is like probably the most pivotal round in the game. If NRG loses, they have to save, and Foot end up stealing their map pick, so they need a hero play. So I'm skipping a little bit ahead of the round because the beginning doesn't matter a whole bunch. NRG started by heavy pressuring into C, and then decided to go like walk into B. But you're gonna realize in a second that that's not gonna work. So the offense are walking up, they teleport across, right? Prowler, blind, they blind off the Prowler, they're working their way into B, and the wall goes off. Mata ends up getting traded, and because this wall is separating NRG from the rest of, I guess, from their duelist, and there's like one secret, one heaven now, NRG realizes they can't go B anymore. This just isn't a possibility. But if you look at the minimap, there seems to be a little indicator back here, and what this is Kiko using his From the Shadows. So he ults into the defensive spawn as his teammates are going into C, and not a single player on Foot is aware. This one guy is about to bend over the entirety of Foot. He is going to cleanse these stinky feet. So he catches one rotate. You're going to see he catches another guy sitting there, and it's a 3 versus 2 against a giant stinky Viper's Pit. So yeah, and then he rotates into spawn and kills another. I didn't even know. Let me see. Was Social be ready for it? Yeah, it was. And Kiko doesn't even take a lick of damage. So Kiko is genuinely just NRG's best player. And I think in stage 2, I really want to see the rest of the players step up. Or I guess in champs, if NRG are going to champs. I'm not exactly sure if they've made it yet. No, I don't think they have. So but regardless, if you want to see another Omen masterclass, check out this video right here. And if you want to watch party games with me, check out my links down in the description.